Anyway, I have no idea what my introduction was, but obrigada. Thank you so much for coming, all of you. Thank you to the Fest for having me, and Joanna for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here. I'm also a little nervous. I've never talked at something like this before. I asked Joanna, I was like, I don't know how to start my talk, you know? And she was like, well, most men start with a joke, and most women start by saying, I'm sorry. So as a female comedian, I'm gonna do both, okay? So I'm very sorry that I don't speak Portuguese. I'm sorry, I wish I did. It's a beautiful language, it really is. I feel like a stupid American. But also, it's a really hard language. I've never heard anything like it, you guys. It's really, really hard. I don't know, I feel like Portuguese to me, it sounds like if Spanish and Russian had a very like sexy drunk baby. I don't know. Anyway, I'll tell you guys about myself because you probably are like, who is this girl? So my name is Julia Shiplett. I am a comedian, an actor, and a TV writer who used to be a copywriter as well. And sometimes I'm still a freelance copywriter because I like money. And also, I don't know if you know about the entertainment industry in the US right now, but everybody's on strike. So I'm questioning all my life decisions lately. So that's good. But can you guys hear me this, or should I use this? No? Okay, we'll stick with this. This is good. This is good. But anyway, I want to just... Okay, let's try that. Is this better? Does this sound better for you guys? Yes? Okay. You guys are quiet. I think maybe you're either a little tired from drinking outside or, you know, just, I understand, you're full. But yeah, so today I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself and my story. And, ooh, I forgot. I have to be a woman in STEM today. Hold on. Yes, here we go. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, what I think advertising and comedy have in common, and why I think it's so important to keep your passions outside of work alive. So that's good. I'm not going to do like comedy for you really today, but maybe I have some jokes. Feel free to laugh. If I ask you a question, you can respond. Don't be shy with me, please. If I say something inappropriate for a work conference, I'm foreign. That's my excuse. I'm foreign, so I think it's okay. Great. So a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm American, but I live in Brooklyn, New York now. I'm originally from the Midwest. You guys know the Midwest? It's like, I'm from Chicago. The Midwest is the middle of the US. It's known for being very friendly and down to earth and, you know, all that stuff. And so people are surprised that I'm from there because I'm a bitch. So, finally, okay. But yeah, people think I'm from New York, which makes more sense for me probably. But I am from the Midwest. And another thing about me that seems to surprise people is that I'm half white, half Chinese. Yeah, in case you're trying to figure out what's happening here a little bit. I think I look like I could be Brazilian, right? Thank you, thank you. You guys are very hot, so it's good. This is the most attractive crowd I've ever seen at a professional event before. It's kind of, yes, very cool, hot. I'm sure many of you have seen your exes here today, right? Clap it up if you've seen someone you used to date. Okay, that's a lot of people. But yeah, I think, you know, everywhere I go, it seems like people think that I'm a local, anytime I travel abroad, but I'm just internationally disappointing. So, but yeah, I think, you know, a lot of times when people find out about my background, they're like, huh, Chinese. I would have never guessed that. I would have never guessed Chinese. And I'm like, sir, nobody asked you to guess. You know, you could simply just not know. you know, maybe just quietly wonder until you found out in a normal conversation or something. But I get it. I think if you're like mixed or biracial looking, sometimes people are curious about you, especially in the United States, right? Someone once told me that I have the face of America. Ferreira. Anyway. Thank you, Joanna. I'm half white, half Chinese, and you know, growing up, I felt like I really felt different as a kid because I didn't know a lot of Asian kids in my community in the Midwest, and I didn't know a lot of mixed interracial families. But now, when my parents come visit me in New York City, they blend in so perfectly because my mom is like an attractive, elegant Asian woman, and my dad is a sunburnt ball of pizza dough. But together, power couple, you know what I mean? Do you have that here in Sao Paulo as well? Just really hot Asian women with weird-looking white men? Yes, someone said yes over here, thank you. But anyway, I think that actually my parents are the reason why I got into advertising. They met through the industry in Chicago. They worked at all the big agencies like Leo Burnett and all that. They didn't work together, but they met through friends. And even when I was like a kid, I remember my parents having big dinner parties at their house with a bunch of advertising people. And they would get so drunk and just talk so much shit about their coworkers or their clients or the accounts that they're working on. And I was like, God, you guys sound miserable. I hope I never do what you do. And they're like, no, it's fun. You'll be great. You'll be a really good copywriter. You should do it. And I was like, no, I'm going to study journalism because I'm going to change the world. And, you know, fast forward to after college. And, it didn't work out that way. But I was like, Dad, help me build a portfolio, please. So I started at an agency in Chicago as hold on. Here's my parents. How cute are they, right? My mom is on the right, obviously, with the glasses. My dad is in the red shirt. It was the 80s. The hair is bad. Okay, so I'm a digital copywriter. I was a digital copywriter. Do we have copywriters here? Make some noise. Let me hear you. You guys can be louder. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think people think, was Mad Men popular here? Yeah, I think people who don't work in the industry think like advertising is really glamorous and sexy. Sometimes it is. A lot of times it's not, though, you know? I would tell people I worked in advertising and I'm a copywriter, and they'd be like, oh my God, you're like Peggy Olson from Mad Men. And I was like, yeah, if Peggy Olson made digital banners for yogurt that helps you shit better. Yeah, just like that. That's good. But I actually got into comedy through advertising, kind of, because in Chicago, there's a lot of big ad agencies, and there's a lot of comedy. Chicago's very famous for comedy. Stand-up comedy, improv comedy. Is improv a thing in Brazil? Yeah? You guys like it? That's cool. I don't, but I respect that. I mean, improv, you know, improv is like a group of people go on stage with nothing planned, and sometimes it's magic, right? Sometimes it's so funny and amazing. Sometimes it's hell, and you don't know what it's gonna be like. But my creative director actually said, hey, you should take an improv class because it makes you better at presenting to the client and thinking on your feet. A lot of agencies would send their young employees to improv classes. And I was like, I don't really want to do that, but I would love to take a stand-up class. And so she was like, okay, we'll pay for that. Take a stand-up class. So my job covered it, and I signed up for an all-female stand-up class, and it was amazing. It's a group of women writing jokes together and sharing funny stories and talking about how trauma is funny. And it's amazing. Women are amazing, is what I'm saying. And, you know, it was like such a special experience that made me kind of think about the world differently. I wanted to find what made anything funny. And after I finished the program, I started going to open mics, which, are there open mics in Sao Paulo too, where people you know, people, you can sign up for 5 minutes and you can say whatever the hell you want to say on stage. And sometimes it is very dark and depressing because anybody can go up there and say anything they want, okay? So, you know, I spent a lot of time in the back of bars with a bunch of men feeling uncomfortable, and I was like, I don't know if I like this anymore, but I want to move to New York. I always wanted to move to New York. That was kind of always part of my plan. And luckily, my agency was headquartered in New York, so I transferred with my company, and I was able to go there. And I got to New York, and I started doing stand-up there, and I was like blown away by the comedy scene because it was so diverse, like so much different types of comedy. It was, you know, improv, it was club comics, more like mainstream comedy, it was like alt comedy, it was, you know, queer comedy, a lot of black comedians, a lot of women comedians. It was just like really exciting and inspiring. So that's kind of what I did the second I got to New York. I worked my day job, and then after work, I would go to open mics or go to shows, and I just got really excited about it. And you know, as you know, you work long hours, right? So there was a lot of times where I have to cancel my comedy show because we have a pitch or something like that. And I got to a point where I realized, like, I think I want to do this full time. So in 2016, I was like, I'm gonna quit my job and try to freelance so I can focus on comedy. And that's scary. It's really scary. My parents, I mean, my mom is an immigrant and my dad didn't go to university, and they're like, this is stupid. You can't just be an artist. You have to have a full-time job. But I was like, I'm gonna figure this out, okay? I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna bet on myself. And you know, the thing about comedy is there's no clear path. In advertising, at least, if you're a copywriter, maybe you become a senior copywriter, you become an ACD, a CD, right? There's a clear path. Comedy, there's no HR. There's no bonus. There's no promotion. You don't know what the hell is gonna happen. But I was like, let's try this. Let's give it a try. And so I started taking acting classes and writing videos and working on scripts and submitting humor pieces to the New Yorker. And finally, things started to work out. And I was able to get published in the New York Times. And I was on a few television shows on HBO. I was in 2 movies on Netflix. And I wrote on some television shows. And so slowly I started to see things happen. And that was really exciting. But I did think for a long time that advertising and comedy were so different, like they have nothing in common. But then I realized, actually, I think being a good copywriter made me be a better comedian, and being a better comedian made me be a better copywriter, because they actually kind of have the same goal at the end of the day, and they're based in the same thing. The goal of advertising and comedy usually is get the audience's attention and make them feel something, right? It doesn't matter if it's a tagline or a whole campaign or just a billboard or just a joke or a funny sketch you watch online. It's kind of, that's the goal of both of them. So how do you do that? How do you get audience's attention and make them feel something? Well, both of them kind of start the same way, and that is through an insight. You guys know what insights are, right? Yeah, you see them on your briefs every time you get a brief, you know? I would say, if I were to define what an insight is, I would say it's understanding what people need and want. And usually there is like a tension or a problem there that the brand or the comedian wants to solve in some way. The delivery might be different, you know, like out of an insight advertising, you have a concept or you have a campaign or a tagline, like I said. And with comedy, you take an insight and you make it a joke or a bit or a punchline. And a bit means like, a bit is like 2 minutes on the same topic and it has a bunch of jokes in it. So that's just fun fact for the comedy nerds. There's 2 people in this room who are like, and everybody else is like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I think both of them are about, telling the truth about something that the audience recognizes that's familiar, and then kind of turning it on its head. It should be a good concept in advertising is something that's easy to understand, but then surprises you, right? So there we go. Same goal. Okay, so I had two really good videos I wanted to share with you guys that they could not connect to the internet, so I cannot show you, sadly. I was gonna show you a commercial, an Amazon commercial, and have you guys do an exercise where you figure out the insight. Hopefully, maybe I can show you after this, or they can send it out. Or if you give a shit, send me a message, I'll send it to you. And then I was going to show you a little short clip of a Brazilian comedian who I recently discovered named Carol Zoccoli. Have you guys ever heard of her? Yeah, I think she's in America now. Originally, I was going to show a Rafi Bastos clip, but people are like, no, I don't know. So I'm not from here, so I don't know how that would be received. But she's really funny, so you should check her out. I can send you a clip as well. But okay, so this is a little hard, I think, without giving those examples. But I wanted to try to do a little exercise with you guys, but I don't know if it's going to work. And I need you guys to have a little participation here. So if I give you this insight, okay, this is the insight. Now, well, no, we're going to skip that because that's related to the commercial. We're going to skip it. I'm going to do something else. This was the insight and the concept from the commercial I told you about. There was a dog who was at home by himself, and he was ruining everything, breaking shit in the house, destroying pillows, and then you see them on Amazon buying a dog crate. And so you think, oh no, they're going to send the dog away. But at the end of the commercial, they open the dog crate and a puppy comes out. So that was how it was surprising, right? You thought they played with your expectations, and that's what makes it interesting. And then with this other joke I wanted to show you guys from Carol, she's talking about how she's like, people think they can underestimate me because I'm 4'11", but I'm little, but I'm fucking crazy. And she talks about how she pooped in a box and put it on her boss's lawn because he didn't pay her. So that was fun. I don't recommend doing that, but if you want to. But here is something I wanted to show you what I think they have in common: good advertising and good comedy. It should be engaging, surprising. We talked about that. Original, it's really hard to be original in advertising, don't you think? Because everything has been done, and now with social media, people see 1 million messages a day. How do you make someone stop and pay attention? It's really difficult. So how are you looking at an idea from a completely different angle? And memorable, again, that's very hard. Like, what makes something memorable? Again, it has to be something no one expected to see, and they haven't seen it before. Emotional. So emotional, there's a lot of good emotional advertising, I think, that tugs at your heartstrings and makes you feel something. With comedy, it is also emotional. A lot of times comedy is about hard things, political things, things that are difficult to talk about, but through the joke, you make it easier to access, right? You kind of unlock what makes it hard, and you find the joy in it. So I think that's what it has in common. So I kind of think that stand-up comedians are a lot like ad creatives. We just have more mental illness. So, and then here, I think if you saw the commercials, this would go over much better, but I'm sorry. Here's an insight that I want to do a little exercise if you guys are comfortable with this. So here's an insight, I just made this up, but the idea is most of us want to look strong and fit, but exercising every day is time-consuming and exhausting. So, we're gonna see how this goes. I want this half of the room to try to come up with a quick concept, an ad concept for this. That's the insight. It can be really short, just like one sentence, what is that? And I want this side to come up with a joke from this insight, okay? It can be, there's no wrong answer. You can do it with the person next to you, but I do want to give you like a few minutes to maybe try to do it, and let's see how it goes. Yeah? Is that cool? You guys are pumped. Great. Cool. Let's try it. Maybe we need music or something. This feels too awkward. Just take a few minutes, talk to each other. Yeah. Are you guys ready? Do you need another minute? Yeah? 1 minute, okay. Okay, let's do it. So, guys, does anyone want to share a concept idea or joke? Come on. Anyone? Oh, right here, yes. Can we bring the microphone there? Right here. White shirt. Huh? 2? Hell yeah, extra credit. Thank you, thank you. Okay, is it jokes or concepts?
The concept.
Concepts,
And
okay.
Because you said so, this part was advertising and the other.
You're right, I did,
So,
I did.
Yeah. And it's from us here, our group, and also this group, because we are 2 in 1.
Great.
Right? No time consuming, no exhaustion.
Uh-huh.
Right? So the first idea is to sell a blanket. It's a fat burn blanket. So we are not going to have to consume your time or to be exhausted because you are going to be sleeping and to
Yes.
get hot. So
Sweat the fat away.
Sweat the fat away.
Hashtag sweat the fat away.
Yes.
Put it all over the subway.
Gostosa and beauty.
Yes.
Which is like hot and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Show us how you sweat the fat away. And then UGC, great.
Yes?
Love it.
Yeah, so clap your hands,
Clap it
crowd.
up.
Thank you very much. And the other one. We have the other one.
Great.
You like to exercise, don't you? But it's very time consuming. And now we have a backpack where you have the water and also the pre-training and also your whey protein. So you're not going to waste your time preparing for training. You are going to only to train and you're going to be better. Be you, but be better.
I love that. Be you, but be better. Clap it up.
Thank you. High five.
That was really good. Oh, we have another one here.
Here.
I see somebody.
Here.
Somebody over there. Yeah.
So, and
Where are you? Oh, hi. Hey.
so, we're talking here that it's hard to think about it because one time we're just doing exercise and after we're going to job, and sometimes I think that we need to respect our body, our mind, and why not exercising? Just open a beer and just drinking.
So, just drinking. Good.
Yeah.
I like that. Open a beer, exercise with the beer, just drinking. So, is this a concept or a joke?
It's a joke.
It's a joke. It kind of feels like it could be a concept.
Yeah.
That feels like an ad.
So we can talk after.
Yeah,
about
we'll collaborate. Thank you. Anybody else? Give it up. Yes. Somebody in the middle right there with their hand raised. Can we go over there, please? Right there. We'll do maybe 2 more, and then we can move on. These are great ideas, guys. You're very creative. There's a lot of alcohol and laying down, which I also would like to do. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Are you telling a joke or a concept?
It's just a joke.
Great. Love it.
Like, it's time consuming and exhausting. So we have this slogan from Nike, just do it. So just don't do it.
It's great. Just don't do it. Beautiful. I love it. Simple, to the point. I get it. Good.
That's
Anyone?
it. Thank you.
One more? Clap it up for her. Sorry about that. Clap it. Anybody else?
I am mother. I will be exhausted at the end of the day anyways, so I've been trying to make a squat every time my daughter calls me. I've been trying.
Uh-huh.
And that's all. I'm not fit. I'm exhausted.
So you're squatting your daughter?
I'm squatting, like agachamento. Every time she calls me.
What was that? What's that? That's
Mine! 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 I need it. I need that. I want this. I want that. So
I like that. Yes. Scream something out while you squat. That's good. That was great. Thank you. I love that. Yeah, I think, I was just trying to think of like examples as well. Like I think, for me, the problem with exercise is that you have to keep doing it. It's kind of a scam in my opinion. I feel like you should be able to do it once and then you're good. But I feel like having abs is kind of like building a sandcastle, like one burrito can just wipe it out. And that's messed up to me. And I think, yeah, for a concept, I was thinking something about, the good thing about exercise is that if you do yoga before work, if you go on a run after work, if you play sports with your friends, you can feel better than everybody else, you know? So a concept called better than you, I think that would be really great. Better than you. Okay, moving on, last part. So I just wanted to talk about life outside of your work. Malcolm Gladwell, he has a thing where he says, it takes 10,000 hours to get good at anything. Maybe you've heard this before. And I think to master your craft, that it just takes a long time. And you guys know that. I think Brazilians are very famous, especially with advertising, for working really hard and being very good at your job. But maybe that's like kind of all you do sometimes. Like that's just the work culture, which I totally get. I think you know, it's a grind, and I think comedy is like that too. A lot of comedians, they go up and they do multiple sets every night, and that's all they do. It's just comedy. But I think a lot like advertising and comedy, our jobs are to tell stories, right? We have to absorb the world and reflect it back to other people. And so I think to be good at our jobs, you have to stay curious. So I like this quote, an interested person is an interesting person. So I think a big part of our job is to stay interested in the world, because it also makes us better at our jobs. And I think if you're working 55, 60 hours a week, it's hard to do that. But I think it's important to prioritize that, because your work is not your entire life, I think, you know, and if it is your entire life, it's really hard to say anything interesting about the world in what you're doing. So this is another quote I like. It's from David Sedaris, who's a writer I really like. It's, as a writer, you're sort of exploiting everybody you come into contact with. And I think it's the same for creatives. If you're a creative, I think you should be drawing inspiration from every interaction you have, every art gallery you go to. So even though we're so stressed and thinking about work and deadlines all the time, like I do recommend talking to a stranger on the train, you know, making something with your hands, trying something new, making a weird video with your friend, like just doing things that have nothing to do with your job. I think it's really important. And let's see. I think, you know, doing these things that seem like they have nothing to do with your job are really important because they make you happier. It makes your work better. Like, for example, if you work on a tourism account, what should you do? Travel, right? Yeah, exactly. If you are working on a dating app account, maybe you should go on some terrible dates, right? Maybe with somebody in this room. Yeah. If you're working on a beer brand, what should you do? Become an alcoholic, right? So it's important to immerse yourself into your work as well. And I think finding things that bring you joy outside of work, it also helps you avoid burnout, which if you're burned out, you can't do your job well anyway. So sometimes it's important to prioritize your mental and emotional health and your happiness over your job, because you can't do your job anyway, so why not try to enjoy something? And I think doing something outside of the office might inspire something completely different in your life. Like for me, I never planned on becoming a stand-up comedian. I thought I was going to be a copywriter, and then I took a class because my creative director told me to, and then I became obsessed with it. So I think trying something new and staying curious and just saying yes to something unexpected can open up a really exciting new chapter in your life that you didn't see coming. So I encourage you to do that. And the last thing I want you to think about is, if I had more time and energy in my day, I would. So If anyone wants to share, you should. Maybe inspire something right now. Anybody? You can yell it out. Exercise. Didn't you see the thing we just talked about? You can lay on a blanket for that. Anybody else? Work more. Jesus. Good luck. Wow. Anybody else? Family. What's... Go what? Sleep more. Sleep more. Okay, so exercise, work, sleep. You guys gotta live a little. Get out of town. But that's okay. I hope you find something that makes you very happy outside of work. And obrigada. Bye. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.